more of the This is the Jason Walker Show. Two-time National Sports Media Association Montana Sportscaster of the Year and three-time loser, the Jason Walker Show. The best local and statewide sports coverage, featuring the biggest guests from Montana.
Flint Rasmussen joining us here on the Jason Walker Show.
He's freaking exhausting, too. You used to dance a lot more. Yeah, I know, lady. I'm 51 years old now.
The NAI Hall of Famer Mike Van Diest joining us here, Jason Walker Show. And is it just a deal where quarterbacks have to be good golfers?
Well, that's all they have time for. They don't work out. They don't lift weights. They don't do anything else. They might as well go get on the golf course and at least have some fun.
And from across the country,
Doug Gottlieb, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show.
End of the day, remember, it's your show. It's got your name on it.
Howie Mandel, our guest here.
Jason Walker, deal or no deal?
the Jason Walker Show, broadcasting from the Major Mortgage Man Cave. Here's Jason Walker.
Hey, what up? Happy Saturday. It is the Jason Walker Show. Major Mortgage Man Cave on location today. We are at Universal Athletic in Bozeman, and just underneath the Hall of Fame of the Montana Football Hall of Fame, all the plaques. Why? Well, that is because we are making the exclusive first announcement today on the 2022 class of the Montana Football Hall of Fame. That'll be coming up in just a couple of moments. In fact, if you miss it today, you can also catch it tonight during the Cat game on SWX and also the other school's game on SWX as well. But without further ado, let's get to it. And thank you to SWX. Thank you to Alex Eshelman for sharing the video. And now, this is your exclusive first look at the Montana Football Hall of Fame class of 2022.
Being a member of the Montana Football Hall of Fame not only means that you've had success at the highest level in America's most popular sport, but you've also shown the world largely what it means to be a member of the Treasure State, hardworking, resilient, and passionate. And tonight, we reveal the 8 nominees who represent the class of 2022. Let's start with Roger, otherwise known as Rocky Gullickson. The former Montana State strength coach in the 1980s climbed all the way to becoming 2007's NFL Strength Coach of the Year during his time with the Green Bay Packers. Next, we have Bozeman Hawks and Montana State superstar linebacker Dane Fletcher. He went from being the Big Sky's defensive MVP in 2009 to playing in the NFL for 5 seasons with the New England Patriots as well as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Along with these two, we have Butte native and former Montana State head coach Jim Sweeney, Troy native and Montana Grizzly turned Green Bay Super Bowl champion Blaine McElmurray, Baker native and first-team All-Big Sky for the Grizz to then eventually becoming an Atlanta Falcon Shan Schillinger, Browning native and employee of the Washington football team for 18 years, Robert Doore, CMR graduate and NFL Films Emmy Award winner Dane Sturiston, and last but not least, all-conference running back for Northern to then a member of the NFL, both as a player and a scout for nearly half a century, Marv Sunderland. Now we'll dive into all of these stories prior to the induction ceremony on June 25th of next year at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center. But for now, congratulations to the class of 2022.
There it is, the exclusive first look, thanks to Alex Eshelman as well as SWX. For our exclusive first look, the 2022 Montana Football Hall of Fame. 8 new members going in 2022 down in June. But we're going to talk to a couple of them live here right now, and that includes Bozeman native, as you heard. He played for the Cats. He played for the Patriots. He played for the Buccaneers, Dane Fletcher. Sir, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
That's on. Yeah, no, you're on.
We're
live. We are live.
No, I'm great. Thank you for having me, Jason. This is amazing.
Hey, I'm just glad you were able to work some things out. I talked to you the other day, and you're like, hey, I can't do it. And then, yesterday, and you're like, hey, you know what? I'll be there.
Yeah, you got to push priorities, and this is awesome. And you only get something like this, once in a lifetime, so embrace it.
Hey, you've had quite the career, and obviously congratulations on the Hall of Fame. But take me from Bozeman. Go back all the way to Bozeman High, those days, through the Bobcat days, and then into the NFL.
I just being a part of the community here in Bozeman and watching this grow and being part of a Bozeman High and then being fortunate enough to play for Montana State and stepping on that field with so much family and friends I grew up with and then take it to another level is the dream.
Yep. We're talking with Dane Fletcher, the one of the newest 8 members of the Montana Football Hall of Fame. And, UAS has done such a great job supporting it as well. But now you're going to get a plaque hanging up here with your jersey in it.
Oh, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no,
cooler.
all those are in the hall, and now you're going to be up there next year too.
That is awesome.
Why MSU? Why not?
Why not? Yeah, but you can go. I have this conversation with a lot of kids now that go to Bozeman High or Gallatin, and if they have an opportunity to play for this caliber of a team, especially now, more so than ever with the coaches that we got, with the facility that we have, and the community more so that we have, it's almost a no-brainer unless you're going to an Alabama or something, and then you make the correct decision at that point.
Right.
But you have all the support. If you're a good enough player at this level, you can definitely get to the NFL. And I think there's enough guys like Shan being inaugurated and everybody else now that the film doesn't lie.
Yeah. There's a lot of great Montanans, the history, I think 200 plus that have gone on to the NFL or CFL and had great careers. You're one of these guys. Take me to draft day with New England.
Yeah, a whirlwind of 3 days because I was an undrafted free agent. Right. I was told heavily by Dolphins, XYZ, that I was going to go in the 5th round. So I was ruined when I didn't go in the 5th round, 6th round, 7th round. So I had a chip on my shoulder going in. And at that point, I was, a priority free agent, whatever that is compared to a free agent. And just a chip on my shoulder that I was relentless and driven to be active day one. And luckily I got there.
You definitely did. Dane Fletcher, our guest here on the Jason Walker Show. We are presented by Capital Collision Center. Speaking of collisions, you caused quite a few all the way from high school. What was your best hit that you remember?
Oh, man. I had some cool ones in high school. Had some great ones in college. I think just because it's kind of everywhere, I gotta tag one on Brett Favre, in a pretty good game against the Vikings, and I just looked up to Brett and some of these guys, and I think that might be it. That was a highlight, just kind of picking the guy that I've looked up to that long up off the ground and who like actually getting your hands on was kind of cool. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I didn't know we'd have video footage of this, or else I would clean my mustache up for this thing. So.
Oh, you look fine. No, it's a far away shot.
Yeah.
See, it's this one. If I go to this camera,
this mustache.
There it is.
Look at which one is that right there?
This one right here.
Oh,
yeah.
That thing is nasty.
Oh, you're fine.
My
You're
wife
fine.
hates me. That's great.
Dane Fletcher, we are talking with. What was it like in New England? And I mean, you hear the stories about Belichick, but give us a good one.
I knew Belichick liked me from the second day I walked in the building. I'm just a farm boy that wore jean shorts and a little backpack into the facility. His office was, I think it still is, right next to the door that you walk in every day. It was just awkward. Him and I were walking, just two ships crossing in the night, crossing each other, and he gave me a grin. And Belichick doesn't grin or smile or anything at anybody. At least that's what I understood. And he just literally stopped dead still in the middle of the hallway and just put his hands on his hips and just shook his head and looked at me. And after about 10 yards of walking past him, I turned around. He was still just looking at me, shaking his head with this grin. And at that moment, I knew that Bill understood who I fully was, in a nutshell. I didn't care about looks. Obviously, I still don't. And I was there to work, and I think he understood just by me walking in some jean shorts and didn't care when all these other guys are, looking pretty going to the stadium and stuff. I was there for one mission, one job, and that was to make the team. And after that day, I knew that Bill liked me because he came up to me in training camp a couple days later and said, and there's more fans there than there was at Montana State at the time just for training camp. And he came up and, cracking small school jokes and, and so we had a great relationship in that sense for 5 years that I was with him, and I've always looked up to Bill, and I think he's always respected me as a player, so that was pretty cool.
Jean shorts went out of style back in the 80s, Dane.
Yeah, I don't think mustaches is looked at very highly either. So I'm against the grain right now.
Hey, I appreciate you wearing like cotton shorts though.
Yeah.
You stepped up a little.
Yeah. My wife now dresses me, so yeah.
That is awesome. We're talking with Dane Fletcher, one of the newest members of the 2022 Montana Hall of Fame football class, coming up the induction next June down in Billings at the Hotel and Convention Center. All right, everybody's going to ask it. I have to. I don't want to because I don't like the guy, but what was it like with Tom Brady?
How do you not like Tom?
I've never been.
That bothers
me.
I
know, but I was never a Brady guy.
Yeah. He's unbelievable. I mean, just a great person, great human. Everybody says that. Everybody knows the outsider of what Tom is, but he's even more so in the locker room, that person. And so being part of that, I mean, it was unbelievable just getting to know Tom on a personal level, having the opportunity to fly back to Bozeman with him because he got a place up in Big Sky, and he's always embraces his teammates like their family, and it shows on the field, and it shows by how many Super Bowls he gets. So
yeah, I mean, I was a Montana guy.
Yeah, I mean,
but Montana
Tom's better now.
But Montana didn't lose in the Super Bowl.
Oh. Wow.
I know, it's a lame argument,
yeah, wow.
but all right. But you have that in connection. You go to his house a lot?
No, I don't. No, I kind of leave him alone, and
he doesn't invite you up to play golf or anything?
We've talked about it. I've been up there, but when he's back here, it's all family time, and I respect that fully and understand. So,
gotcha. And then Tampa wasn't good when you were there, but they're good now.
Yeah,
thanks to Tom.
Yeah, thanks to Tom and Gronk, and Jason Lights is a hell of a GM. So
yeah.
It's what a turnaround.
What was your favorite? What was your welcome to the NFL moment? Let's go there.
The day that I didn't get cut would be a big welcome to the NFL. That was fun. But everybody else is at Kraft's party in Cape Cod, and Kraft has a blowout party for the guys that didn't get cut. Obviously, if you get cut, you're not welcome to that party. But I didn't know. I was on the fringe, and I was at the facility. I didn't know what to do. My buddies are getting cut left and right, and, and packing bags, and I'm sitting there like, when's my moment coming? When am I getting cut? And I passed Brian Florence, who's the Miami's head coach now, and he was our safeties coach at the time. And I go, B-Flow. I was like, did I make the team? I just got to know. There's literally, I think, a half an hour left of deadline before I can get cut. And I was like, this is going to kill me if I get cut now. And he's like, Dane, I'm just going to tell you right now, you might have made the team today, but you can easily get cut tomorrow. You're never just safe on this team. And that was my welcome to the NFL moment. It was so bittersweet. So I gifted myself with buying a new tie and a suit because I never owned one. And that was my gift. And that was it. And so,
nice.
Yeah, it was cool.
Favorite stadium to play in, not a home game?
Not a home game. I thought Chicago. I thought Soldier Stadium was unbelievable just because the history's there. Right. But then it was really cool with what they've done to kind of build on top of that as well. So, yeah, Chicago's cool.
Worst stadium?
I mean, San Diego, when the Chargers were there, that was a pretty terrible. No, reflect off that. Oakland,
okay.
Because you're playing on the baseball field.
Right.
And so you tackle somebody and you're just getting torn up. So Oakland was rough.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And the fans. And because of the tuck rule and everything, it was the first year that playing for the Patriots that we were back since the Patriots stole their Super Bowl ring. So whatever. I wasn't part of that regime, so you can't get mad at me, but whatever. But the fans were nuts, to say the least.
So are they the worst fans in the NFL?
Yeah.
Like the worst, best fans? Because, I mean, they love their team.
Sure, they love their team. They were terrible. Yeah.
Cleveland's pretty bad too, though, right?
Cleveland.
Philly.
Yeah. I would say Oakland was the worst to go against, fan-wise. They're throwing stuff at us. And comparable to, like, the Grizz, the cheap stuff.
I like that.
In there.
I like that, though. That's good. Because, I'm a Bobcat, and I always have been, and I didn't get to play, but I'm nowhere near your size. But you're having a great career back here in Bozeman. You've had a nice afterlife, I guess, after the NFL. Take me through what you're doing now.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I run a business. I run a gym. We are connected also with physical therapy with APRS, and Our gym is called the Pit Training Facility, and we're just changing lives. And we can guarantee people now results. We've been doing this for 5 years. Somebody comes in, say they want to lose 30 pounds of body fat or 30 pounds of weight, 5% body fat, anything that they're looking to do, gain strength, we can guarantee it. We have our system dialed. And more so, we're changing lives with the training, the recovery, the nutrition, and really the accountability. And to be able to come back to the community I grew up in and have people I knew, people I didn't know, new people in the community come into my gym and truly change their lives with the culture that we have and the system in place that we have now. And I have experts from all over the field, military-based, NFL-based. It just doesn't matter. We all put our minds together and we say, like, this is a great plan moving forward for our members.
That's awesome. People can obviously join anytime, right?
Yeah.
Come down?
Yeah. We're about to cap it soon, I think. So it's awesome. Get that point and have a waiting list is the dream.
Oh, for sure. No question. Man, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Was Woodhead
Woody, yeah.
Okay.
And he was there when they also beat us for Montana State with Shadron. Yeah.
I had just left covering Mesa State for 2 years in Colorado, so I got to see him up close and personal. And then I remember the Shadron game, and I got to do PA again after that game.
Okay.
That's when I came back, so in 06.
So you got to meet Woody then? Or
I never met him.
Yeah.
But
he's a
everybody's
character.
like, who is this guy? And I'm like, no, I know he's good. I saw him.
Yeah, no, after beating Colorado, then come back and have Woody beat the brakes off of our whole team. Like, it was single-handedly pretty much him. Yeah, we knew he was good.
Did you guys talk about it when you were in New England?
Yeah, I hated him at first. He got cut from the Jets, comes to New England, and sits at our table with Gronk and all the guys. And obviously, I know who he is. He knows who I am. But and I had to break the ice and be like, I get it. Like, let's just cut it right now. We're on the same team. Like,
yep.
You beat us, dude. Congratulations. He laughed, and we've been pretty tight ever since, actually, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, take me through the best party with Gronk that you had.
We lived together for 3 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Which party would you like to know, Jason?
You saw it all.
Yeah. We came in as rookies together, roomed together for 3.5 years, and we had a great time.
That's all I need to know.
No, that's it. But I mean, it's all business with him, and being roommates with Gronk, being a teammate and friends with the guy, it's awesome to see how smart he is with his money and how attention to detail is with life and how structured he is, even though as an outsider watching, it looks like he has zero structure and he just likes to party.
Right.
Now the guy has his stuff together and takes very good care of his body now, and it's awesome to see him back in the league and doing what he's doing, especially after the other night.
Yeah, well, jeez.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a Cowboys guy.
That was tough.
I know. Hey, but I don't like the Grizz. We have that.
Yeah, we got
I'm
something.
a Bozeman Hawk too, so there's there's still some things in common. We both like your family.
Sometimes.
When did you know it was time to be done?
I always told myself,
the body or the mind?
It was both. I had a fair share of injuries. I had 3 ACLs, other injuries, and I always told myself as a rookie free agent coming in, I was like, if I get 6 years in this, that'd be unbelievable. My goal was 6 years. So when I got to 6, that was it. And I always told myself, if I can't make enough money or be happy or fulfilled what I need to do in the NFL for dreams, then that was my deadline to myself. And I think my mind took over after all these injuries and stuff too. And it's not fun spending almost every offseason just rehabbing injuries. And that's what the little things that people forget about is these guys that get hurt it's a year process, usually minimum, of just rehabbing just to get back in there and maybe do it again the next year. Yeah.
I can't imagine it, man. But you're a warrior, so appreciate it. You joining us. Congratulations, Dane, on the Hall of Fame. That's a cool deal.
Yeah.
So now how many Hall of Fames are you in?
Montana State's, and then Montana.
And then this one?
Yeah. So.
New England's going to put you in some point, right?
I know. Put me in the gutter.
Whatever. Hey, great career from high school all the way up through, and congratulations with the Pit. Keep it going, and if you need some advertising, I'm just,
one step away.
I'm saying I know a guy that can advertise for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, Dane Fletcher, everybody, appreciate you joining us, my man.
Jason, thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate it.
Have fun at the game tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
We'll let Dane scoot on out. We're going to welcome in our next guest here, the Montana Football Hall of Fame class of 2022 includes Dane Fletcher, and it also includes our next guest, who is known by the name of Robert Doore. He is from Browning. He spent a lot of time in the NFL with another team that I was not a fan of, the Washington Redskins. But as we welcome him in, he just got up here from the Denver area, Colorado Springs, but Mr. Robert Doore hanging out. Congratulations, sir.
Wow, thank you. It's an honor.
When you got that call a couple weeks ago, what was it like for you?
It was kind of hard to put together, right? I couldn't believe it. I didn't know who was calling me because of the warranty guys. I thought it was a warranty call.
Well, hold that up just a little bit higher. There you
but
go.
we, it worked out. It worked out real well, and I was flattered. I mean, I couldn't believe it, and the names that were behind it, Brent Musburger, Marty Morningwig, these are guys that I idolized growing up in my life, and so it was very, very humbling.
Yeah,
especially coming from where I come from.
Yeah, not many from Browning that are in the Montana Football Hall of Fame. You might be the only one right now.
I am. I'm used to that title, though. I get a lot of "you're the only one" in a lot of places I go. But yeah, we come from, a long line of athletes, a long line of basketball and football players, cross country guys, and that's where I learned how to work hard. Was playing sports, and that's how we ended up here. I think it was just hard work.
What'd you do after high school? Between high school and the NFL?
Well, high school, I think, is important. Just getting out of high school in Browning, Montana. The environment where I grew up is pretty harsh. We didn't have a very good football team. My uncle who played for the '84 Cats. He was one of the winning teams in high school, and then of course we were winners under the Schultes from Butte.
Right.
So that really allowed me to dream big. So I knew I wanted to go on to college, so I went to Eastern, walked on at Eastern, and for basketball, not football. And then in college, I realized that my playing days are over, and my smarts were a lot better than my muscles. But I still maintain the work ethic of an athlete. So went on to college at both Eastern and Montana State.
And then how'd you end up with the Redskins?
Fate. I get asked that question, how do you get into the industry? And my background is business and banking and finance. And so, but I knew business operations. I know people, process, and systems. And so the Redskins needed help in their business operations, their stadium operations. And what also came with it was my cultural sensitivity of Native American culture, traditions, and addressing the name controversy that they were going through. So, but I was hired. 99% of what I did was director of guest experience and business operations at the stadium.
You bring up the Redskins name. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Now known as the football team, which makes no sense to to me. But there was a history. There's a connection with Browning, and the name, just everything. Mm-hmm. What was your thoughts when they decided to drop the Redskins?
Well, I grew up a Redskin fan in Browning, Montana. The logo itself, the one I have on my coat today, my jacket is based after Chief Two Guns Whitecalf from our tribe. So that was fascinating for me, and for me it was a platform to educate and enlighten people, not only in the organization but also throughout the world. Right, mm-hmm. The NFL is a major platform, and I think if you become an advocate on that level, you can really share who we are as people. Right, so my approach was to educate, but also share our culture and who we are. The evolution of the name, I think it was time. I think it was time that we had to move in another direction, in that sense. So I helped them maneuver through that, but at the same time maintaining the integrity and having a voice for Native Americans at the table. Right. So in 1920. The first president of the National Football League was a guy by the name of Jim Thorpe. Mm-hmm. And not everybody realizes that the Hall of Fame is in Canton, Ohio, because he was playing for the Canton Bulldogs, and he was the biggest draw at the time, and that's why the Hall of Fame is in Canton, Ohio. 100 years later, the highest ranking Native American was the guy you're sitting talking to. It took 100 years for a Native American to make it to an executive level in the NFL.
Man, it's crazy. It's just absolutely not. And Jim Thorpe, to me, Secretariat's the greatest athlete of all time, but greatest human athlete probably Thorpe.
Jim was one of the people I idolized.
Yeah.
Along with my uncle and a few others. But, there's some deep history of Native Americans in sports, in the NFL, right? And so my approach was to make sure we had a seat at the table and no longer on the menu. And giving a face of who we are as Native Americans and, where I come from as well, right? The success factor is challenging. The reservation life is harsh. What I wanted to do was just dream big. And what happened was I was watching the NFL Today on CBS, and a guy by the name of Brent Musburger. Hello, we're live from NFL Today. His famous.
Yeah, you are looking live.
You were looking live. And then he says, we're going to take you back to all of our hometowns. And he's standing on the rims in Billings, Montana. And I said, that's a Montana boy? We can do that? We're allowed to do that? We're allowed to get off reservation? We're allowed to get up and leave Montana and make it to the big time? That's what I want to do. And so I knew I wasn't going to make it as an athlete by the time I hit college, but I just kept trying and trying and trying. And fate allowed me to make the contacts and network. And that's how you really get into the NFL. It's who you know, right? Once your career is over, it's going to be that network. And so, that's really what happened to me is I knew business operations. I knew people. And so my job became primarily responsible for 85 to 100,000 people on Sunday.
Right.
And 5,000 staff at the stadium. Lots of moving parts.
Wow. I didn't realize there was that many staff. And I consider, the 20 or so that run Bobcat football games and they do a great job. You obviously worked under Dan Snyder. What was that like?
I got a lot of respect for Dan. There's an image out there that's less than favorable, with his lack of access with the media. But every interaction I had with Dan was outstanding. He was a man of integrity that treated me very well. We talked about, the first time we met, we talked about our dads and the importance of our fathers and football. And I think somewhere along the lines in the few days I spent with him, we talked a number of things, but I think we eventually start talking business on day 2, right? So to me, I wanted to understand what I was getting into. So I was a fan. There's 3 parts of me. There was a fan of the Redskins. I was an Indian, and I was a professional. So it gets complex, and it's got to check off all of them to work for somebody, right? Anytime you go to work for a company, you want to make sure you're a fit for that culture.
Right.
And that's what I did. I focused hard on really understanding who I was representing and who I'd be working for. And I had the option to say, I don't want to work here. So, I went home to my wife. First of all, when we went out to meet with them, she thought I was full of it because I was a Redskin fan since I was 5 years old, right? And so to work for your team, you kind of get blinded by all the lights, fame, and fortune. So you have to step back and kind of process what's going on. Is it a good fit for me? Is it a good fit for my family? I'm leaving Montana to go into the East Coast, a different culture. You want to get impersonal? Move to the East Coast. I tell them about how we leave our cars running here and still shake hands and say hello.
Yeah. No, it's true.
And then we made the collective decision to make a change. So my goal was to really use my skills and ability and impact change in a positive disruption and make sure that we were impacting lives with the staff. And that's what I did. I focused really hard on making the business run efficiently at the stadium.
We talked a little bit as we talked to Robert Doore, one of the newest members of the Montana Football Hall of Fame. That announcement earlier today. If you missed it, we'll have it again on SWX tonight during the Bobcat football game and also the other school's game. I just can't. Were you a Grizz fan growing up?
There's an interesting question. My first real big city I ever went to was Bozeman, Montana.
Okay.
My uncle played here, and we bled, blue and gold.
Okay.
And then families start to migrate to Missoula, and then I had family play for the Grizz. So for a short stint, I might have wore some Grizz gear because I worked in Missoula for just a short stint. Now, was I a fan? I was supporting my family. How's that?
Okay.
Is that fair?
That's fair. That's a good point. My son, when he played high school football, I said, look, and he was a kicker. And we talked about kickers, they're their own breed. But I said, look, if you end up playing over there, I will root for you and hope you lose every game. That's it. That's it. Like, I want you to succeed, but I want you to lose every game.
Well, we got my son in the audience here, and he's a very smart kid. And So the Davis lineage is pretty strong here, and Stephen was a Rhodes Scholar finalist, right? And my son, we asked him, where he wants to go, and we all agreed that his GPA is way too high to go to Missoula, so we're going to have to go to Bozeman.
That is classic. I love it because it's true. You don't want to be delivering pizzas as a UM grad. I have my man cave back home, and I have literally no Grizz gear in it. I talk about them, but I refuse to display anything. I'm just saying.
I don't have any Grizz gear.
I was the PA guy. That's in 1996 to 2013. I was the original first down guy here. So, but back to your career. I'm not in the Hall of Fame. You are now. We talked rivalries, and Washington-Dallas doesn't seem like a rivalry anymore just based off of names, but you're not a Philly fan, so we get along there.
Nope.
Was that did you get to travel with the team too to games? Okay. Was that the worst stadium?
The worst stadium? I probably should keep that one quiet. There were some ones that presented chance. So I looked at stadiums differently, right?
Okay.
So if you're selling phone books, you're going to look at a phone book differently. So as a fan, you're looking at a stadium from a different perspective. As a business operations professional, I looked at the layout of a stadium differently than I would a fan.
Sure.
I will say this. I hated Dallas and everything about Dallas coming into the league, but I worked with some of the best professionals in Dallas and their staff. They were outstanding. They are outstanding. Minnesota's got some outstanding people. So you form a bond with the 31 other professionals in the industry, and we all know what we're all facing. But, something to be said about a Super Bowl and when you're putting those things together and attending one, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that you're sacrificing family time, that you're sacrificing. So, when on a Monday night game, when you're home tucked in bed, me and my crew are still buttoning up the stadium.
Right.
So there's a lot that goes into it. So I'm not going to say that one stadium was worse than the other. I will say going to Soldier Field, but Green Bay, getting lost in the hallways and accidentally bumping into Rodgers.
Oh.
It was kind of cool.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
I got a couple cool stories by accident.
Sure.
At some other stadiums, but, that's really in the Montana connection.
Sure.
Right, not realizing how many Montana boys and gals are tied to the league, right? I think I saw a number of about 300. And so, Dane played with my nephew Leo, and finding out that connection, that was fantastic. And then there was some Philly players. There's all kinds of Montana connections in the league, and that know what Montana roots are about.
Yeah. Well, Alex Singleton's not from Montana, but played at MSU, and now he's a captain with the Philadelphia Eagles. That is amazing. It's just super cool to be, because he joined the team, last year or the year before, and now he's a captain.
Right.
That doesn't happen every day.
Well, one thing that I will say is how humbling it was to get the call and to be part of this elite group. There's some players up here that you idolized, and my son, idolized quite a few of these guys. Coach Ione.
Yeah.
His wife taught my daughter in Billings.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of connections in Montana, but one thing that I try to do is always maintain my Montana roots wherever we went, and talk about how we were raised and what's the value of being a Montanan and how hardworking every individual is that you come across in Montana. And so, and then the beauty of the Indian people across this state is also something that's really neat as well. And the East Coast people are fascinated by that, right? And of course they cite some of the movies and stuff, but just to come back home and to be celebrated like this is very humbling and very touching.
It's a very cool deal. I got involved with the Hall of Fame this last year, and I'm all aboard. It's what they're doing for the state of Montana and recognizing the impact that Montanans have had, not only in the NFL, but with the CFL as well. As we talked to Robert Doore, a couple final questions, but what game stands out the most in all of your history with Washington?
You're going to love this one. I never was able to beat the Cowboys in person. And we were up. Ryan Kerrigan just fumbled Dak in the end zone for a touchdown. And I wanted to cherish that moment. And I think by the time I got from the upper level down to where my family was sitting, because I wanted to enjoy the moment with my son, Dallas was only down 3 points with a minute left. And the kick goes up. There's 85,000 fans, and there's a moment in time where that stadium is absolutely quiet, where you can hear the ball hit the goalpost and that doink. I went nuts. I became the three guys I talk about. I was the fan. I was back to being that little boy fan again. To beat your rival is just, as a grown man, it's something about sports that just makes you rise to another. The Cat Grizz game. I mean, when Leo brought that trophy home across the mountains, that was special. He was on that squad, right? Yeah. And so that was one of the favorite moments. But the other moment that not a lot of people realize, I talk about the work that goes into it and the sacrifice that you make away from family and friends. After the glitz and glamour of the NFL, on a Saturday night in the stadium, sitting on the top row, looking down, and all the work that went into it. The field looks good. It smells the grass. The stadium's ready for a game. That moment was special to me, along with your first day at work, right? But you reflect on where you come from. Reflect on what it took to get to this level. Reflect on the hard work. Reflect on the sacrifice. A lot of reflection. And to be recognized by, the Montana Hall of Fame is just, when you set out on this journey, I think Dane would agree, you don't do it for all the accolades. But they tend to follow. If you just keep your nose down and keep grinding, and you apply that same work ethic that you did in sports to life, that's what I think is most special to me. And I look back. In the impact, and I can honestly say that the Redskins, the NFL, is a better place than when I got there.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a great statement, and that says a lot about you and where you come from, like you said, and Browning and all of that is just fantastic. I got to ask you this. Let's go back to the name change again real quick. But should other teams follow? Like, is it time?
I think in this era we're in now, I think it's a case-by-case basis, right? I grew up Browning Indian.
Right.
And it depends on the conversation and what's behind it, in my mind. There's a cultural sensitivity component, so I don't think there's a sweeping answer. But I think we can use the platform, whatever it is, to educate on who we are as Indians, what we were before, what we are today, and what we want to be. Because there's so many issues on the reservation in Indian country that we need to address. Now, a football team shouldn't solve those problems. But if it means changing a name or changing a logo, that'll help. I'm not so sure I believe that. But at the same time, if it'll help move us forward as a society, then maybe we should take a look at it. But I think the Indians should have a voice at the table when it comes to that. Florida State Seminoles. You can go down the line. There's a lot of Indian school teams that don't want to change.
Yeah.
But those same people want to change on a larger scale because there's no Indian connection. So I think if I was to offer anything to anybody out there listening, would be to extend your hand to Indian country and get to know them and understand who's on your helmet, who's on your logo. And then maybe you make that decision on going forward. Because not everything is agreed upon, not everything is offensive, but at the same time, if one person is offensive, you probably should listen to them, right? So diversity and inclusion and belonging is really important to me, but also you need to become educated in who we are as a people, and that we are educated, that we are working professionals and stuff, and we're not just, what you might see on some, helmet or something.
Yeah, man. I wish I had more time to talk with you about. I'm going to have to get you on and spend a whole hour talking about.
We could talk for
that because it's intriguing the way everything is changing now. And I lived in Box Elder for 2 years, so I got to see the Rocky Boy Reservation and the Chippewa Cree tribe, and just unbelievable. And I took my son to the powwow at MSU because of the tradition. I mean, those songs that are handed down for hundreds of years. The beauty of it, I was like, watch this. This is what Native culture is to me, is this. The beauty, all of it. I loved it.
I need to say this, too, is sports to Native Americans, to Indians, is really important. And what I'm working to do today is provide an opportunity for a career in sports, right? So what do you do after the crowds of high school or college fade away? You have your career, you have your smarts. And so I was able to break through as a black indigenous people of color executive, where they're looking to hire people of color talent at all levels. And so I'd like to build a pipeline. We're building a pipeline for people to get this opportunity that I have, so that a listener on the reservation could say, yeah, I can go to the NFL. Yes, I can referee. Yes, I can work in operations. Yes, I can do it in so many different levels. So really that's the avenue. Educate, but he or she can educate all the way up. But just give us a chance. Yeah. And that's all that that I'm striving for today.
Well, it's we're going to get you on, because this is I love talking, with someone who's a lot smarter than I am about things that they're more important to you than me, but they're just as important, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Hey, I'm going to let you roll because you got your son here. He looks like he's getting bored, but
you go find him a comb.
Yeah. He just rolled out of bed, it looks like. How old is he?
How old are you, 12?
12?
12.
Okay. Happy to be living in Colorado as opposed to the East Coast, I bet, now.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Hey, congratulations on a great career.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the Hall of Fame, and if there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. You've got my number. He's got the big ring on. Dane never wore it. He didn't wear any rings. Just a wedding ring.
He's got the mustache.
He's got the stash, though. Congratulations to our newest members of the Montana Football Hall of Fame. If you missed the announcement earlier today, you can catch it tonight. You can watch it on JasonWalkerShow.com, but you can also catch it tonight on SWX during both the Bobcat and the Grizzly games, as they both play tonight. It is Gold Rush Universal Athletic. Thank you for letting us set up in here at the official underneath all of the Hall of Fame, Montana and Hall of Famers. Gold Rush shirts have sold out, but no reason to not come down to UAS in any of your cities and get your favorite team. We'll take this time to thank everybody, all of our great sponsors. We're back Tuesday, and we'll recap my picks from the weekend. Also going to recap our Auto Contest Performance of the Week and much, much more on Tuesday. And we'll talk to Kyle Mihelish from Capitol High as well. All right, that'll do it from Bozeman. Thank you for watching. Congratulations to all of our newest Hall of Famers for the Montana Football Hall of Fame. Jason Walker, see you later.
Walker Show is produced by the Jason Walker Media Company. Any reuse, rebroadcast, or retransmission without the express written consent of the Jason Walker Show is strictly prohibited. Just listen, watch, and enjoy.